Thank you for visiting the Coin Lady channel again. It seems like we're almost at the point where we should put some proposals out there. And I'm not usually one to make suggestions merely because I'm in a circumstance where the villainous narrative is constantly trying to convince me the same old things. However, our perceptions differ in other locations. For the time being, I'm trying to stay away from it as much as possible, simply because of all the attacks and whatever. However, it's crunch time. Now, someone needs to propose these ideas, and someone else needs to ask whether they will be accepted. Because in the end, it all comes down to a decision based on governance. And getting a small majority opinion isn't the majority in a democratic voting situation. Several problems have emerged at this time. Here we have Vin, who is basically expressing his desire to quit. I mean, I can't say I blame him after working for so long without compensation. But one thing is certain, he would see a dramatic improvement in his situation if he received a monthly retainer. In addition to other suggestions, we will be talking about the DCM and similar topics. Removing that and going back will undoubtedly be a problem. So, I'm going to show you a PowerPoint presentation that isn't PowerPoint at all. Additionally, as previously said, they will want a monthly retainer payment in order to continue managing the repository. In my opinion, this is excessive. Reason being, you've all been through the community-approved Real Labs process. Then Vince, who are responsible for doing the checks, combine the data. In his spare time after a long day at the office, he works on the 2 T's in his eyes for about twice as long. Things are unfair. Now that he's been around for a while, we're at a position where we trust him. Since he is the one who has brought us thus far, it is reasonable to assume that we will need him to lead. And I simply despise parting ways with individuals. I believe is crucial. Then, if I receive approval from then on out, and he confirms it, I will remain. Assuming a monthly retainer is established, I will propose taking on this task and see it through to completion. The loss of another good person is something I cannot bear. It is unfair that we should suffer this fate. Basically, nobody wants to pay this man. After sending out a tweet with a lot of encouraging responses, I decided to compensate him. So, we will move forward with this one if they give us the green light. One of 3 options: pay him in advance, create a system similar to pay per job, or institute a monthly community spend that increases every month will have to be implemented in order to receive his funds. Correct? In order to compensate these individuals and go forward. Right? Secondly, this one is crucial. If someone is relying on their image to operate numerous nodes on Terra Glass, it is crucial to prohibit validators from doing so. So, if you put a rule into effect that says you can't do something, they'll have to get around it, or depend on their own image to gain more or less voting power and control more of the active set. A civil uprising is imminent. Some validators boast networks of validators, implying that they are not owned by just one entity. As a result, the climate is becoming more and more toxic, with members of the active set becoming increasingly selfish and no one knowing how to join or even get into the active set. A larger number of nodes should be spun up. Having that kind of mentality is also unfair if you're committed to blockchain technology. So, what's the rationale for that? What is the rationale for that? I fail to comprehend it in any way. I consider this one to be of paramount importance. There must be something with this. Surely, yes, that is mandated. In any seriousness, people who engage in public double-dipping should face consequences. Also, some people will double node behind closed doors. Even while some worry this may encourage more double noding, the practice is already prevalent. It seems like a no-brainer to impose this rule or at least post it now. Doubling down on this blockchain looks like it would pass with flying colors, and everyone seems to think that it's not okay. I would greatly appreciate it if you could share your thoughts on these in the comment box. I am attempting to gather input. Additionally, I will solicit bids on all of these. Instead of rushing through them all, I will ensure that they are all up in Commonwealth in due course. They will be done sequentially. You have no idea what they have planned. And the amount of hate speech directed at me from the wicked narrative means that they will have to take deposits. Right now, next on the list is doing away with the dynamic commission system, which I was an advocate for and instrumental in establishing. Among other things, DCM drives you up so high, and it's not fair. Now, since it's no longer helpful, this is the current issue that's forcing individuals to need to find a way around the dynamic commission scheme twice. Everything is mechanized. Also, it isn't making any difference anymore. It's simply enriching the larger validators, who can then self-delegate more UNC to themselves, giving them greater voting power and further centralization. More and more, things are becoming centralized, and this is directly related to the Sybil assault and the double noting. Because of this, I believe that eliminating the DCM and replacing it with a minimum commission of 5% is more than necessary. Going to the TFL Luna blockchain on the mainnet, switching from the classic to the mainnet, going to pass, will show you that they just passed a minimum 5% commission rule, which is great because it creates an equal playing field. And in order to earn the right to vote, participate in the active set, and establish credibility on this blockchain, individuals must take action, demonstrate, and construct. Instead of being completely hands-off and not asking anyone to do anything, we could offer them an auto-compounding module for free and a 0% commission rate. Nothing compels you to do that. The minimum 5% will be reinstated if the DCM is removed. Everyone can sit on their hands and pretend this bull run isn't occurring. So we'll have to work hard to get to the finish line. Commission. But right now we're falling behind. And we really ought to be pumping like these various meme coins, which are currently exceeding us. I am really confused. I can tell you exactly what the problem is. Please tell me why I'm stating that. Anyhow, enough said. We need to stay on topic here. The final one. There are a lot of things that have made it past governance, so I think this is going to be necessary shortly. Everything here is going to pass muster with the government. Where does the no double no coding go? For instance, if it passes, these regulations and standards have vanished. It would be wise to implement a constitution similar to the one that Mr. Gallican proposed long ago, when she yelled at him. I pray he is paying attention. However, the initial piece must to incorporate the completed Know Your Customer process. You can see it already. Does anyone plan on visiting this chain? It is imperative that any new validators be aware that the Constitution requires located in the tabs on the left side of the screen. In my opinion, it belongs on station. The first should merely serve as a constitution to which we add whatever is necessary. And the second, as I've indicated, should ideally serve as the double note if it passes. Not only do I hope it passes, but I also hope that all of the other validators get up and make their voices heard. Listen, this is really unacceptable. The main point is that at the moment, there are no regulations that prohibit them from doing it. Therefore, they will be required to begin doing so if we do in fact enforce a rule. In my opinion, this is all crucial information. To my mind, it's all pertinent. Additionally, I believe that all of these things will serve as good reinforcement. We return to a system that promotes in an environment which is fair for all, instead of having several validators running networks on chain and double noting. And we keep our core maintainer as we go forward into this bull run. And it's not just about people being greedy and consuming the chain. Do away with a DCM and bring back a minimum 5% commission. And you won't see people write double noting as much. Their support will reach them just as it reaches me. To illustrate, consider this: if I were to do a node for Lunk Dash, Penguins, my cell phone, and the band project, that would be 4 nodes. Then I will begin to construct a network. On the other hand, I could just point out that those communities and nodes belong to me. They have zero bearing on me. To be clear, I would use that voting power to keep doing all of those things. In the end, I would still be held accountable for each and every one of those nodes. I believe that individuals should begin asking these questions since they are all pertinent. I too believe that a constitution is unnecessary right now. As time goes on, governance changes, so we simply add or remove articles. As validators, we all adhere to the same basic format, which is a text document. The validators have a responsibility to follow the rules and guidelines outlined in a constitution, and those who disobey will be exposed for what they really are: nasty people. All of this is crucial because it forces people to either show their real colors or be a good team player if they want to see the blockchain succeed, rather than become a centralized entity where we all just give in to the idea of and I believe this is the case. Alright. How about we split up the nodes amongst ourselves? We can all manage this chain with only a couple of us. That is the end of the video. Do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. Muchas gracias. Depart.